But we should have Deli Cartwright on the line in the podcast right now. Hello?
Deli, are you there?
Hi. Hello?
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you. So let me ask you something,
Okay.
Deli, because you said before you came on that even though you grew up in Australia, although in a multiple number of places, that you have no accent. So we kind of need you to talk for a second so we can figure out if that's actually true or not.
Basically, I've actually proved that I don't have an Australian accent.
I see.
Is that enough?
And you're that's enough. And you're part of. I don't know if Theresa and Lee, if you Megan, if you guys have seen this Hunger Games crew that's on Twitter. But this group, they actually, you've all seen it, right? Well, Deli is part of this crew, and I have to admit, Deli Cartwright was one of my favorite characters in the book. Phil, you don't know who she is because she's in the third book. Just to warn you.
She's always.
Is she mentioned? She is mentioned. You're right.
She's mentioned because during when the Avox is serving them at their first night in the Capitol.
Oh, she's the one who they cover for. He said, Peta says it's Deli Cartwright.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
She looks like Deli Cartwright.
Yep.
That's right.
I didn't know she came back.
Well, and the best thing about Deli is her personality. Isn't that your personality is always to be happy and all sunshine no matter what happens? Isn't that right, Deli?
Yeah. Sort of.
So how do you manage to stay so upbeat and positive in the midst of these horrors that are going on by the Capitol?
Lots and lots of candy.
Lots of candy. Okay, that's just true. And maybe on a more serious note, going out of character for a second, maybe you could just tell what it was like to become part of this Hunger Games crew.
Basically, I found them by searching up role plays on Twitter. So there were a lot of people, and for some reason, I just wanted a character who was basically nobody was actually thinking of taking because everybody there are a lot of Katnisses, Phoenix, and whatever. So I was busy reading the book, and I thought, oh look, Deli Cartwright. So I just got it, and I feel rude because I just butt into their role play, but thank gosh they actually just accepted me, and quite cool. They're all cool.
No, that's great. Have any of you? Let me ask Theresa, because you're big on Twitter. Haven't you been pretty amused by this Hunger Games crew?
Oh, I love watching what's going on. Sometimes I get confused because if I haven't been on for a little while, I know I've missed something. So sometimes I'll try to go back and catch up or whatever. But it's great. I love because it's all because there's a couple different things I'll be like, oh well that would never happen. But it's so interesting because it's like a different take on different things that go on and things that you wouldn't expect or they change things up, and it's really good. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I mean I encourage everyone. You need to find all these characters because if you're not following one of them, then you're missing part of it. So you need to follow the Hunger Games crew because they're awesome. So
definitely, and that's the hashtag Hunger Games crew. Let me ask Ariel, because Ariel has been known to dress up as certain characters and do cosplays. If you've been Katniss before and you've dressed up as Katniss, what costume would you have given Deli Cartwright if you were put to the test?
I don't know. That's really on the spot. I'd have to go do some research. Usually I'll go find where they're listed in the books and read as much as I can about them, and I'll also search other people's fan art and stuff like that, and I'd have to base it off that. So nothing off the top of my head, but I could do some research.
No, but that's a great answer. Savanna, I wonder if maybe we can pull up that etymology. Is Deli Cartwright listed in that etymology that they have?
She is, Delhi is a partial diminutive. There are several possible names from which Delhi could be derived. Adelaide, of German origin, which means of a noble kin. Cordelia, who was the daughter of Shakespeare's King Lear. Delilah, possibly. And V and Meg say this is the most interesting possibility for Delhi because Delilah is a biblical name meaning one who weakened. And they say that there are a lot of parallels in Delhi's story and with Peta in Mockingjay. She didn't betray parallels with Delhi and with Delilah from the Bible because Delhi did not betray Peta to his enemies. But they go on to say that this would be the most logical derivation for her name, and it's certainly the most well-known in modern pop culture. And then a Cartwright is someone who makes carts.
So Savanna, isn't she a little bit? She's a little bit overweight, so maybe it's because she spends a lot of time in the deli. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Megan B,
that might be the worst joke ever made on a fireside chat. Yeah.
Adele, maybe? Adele, like the singer? Never mind.
Didn't your phone number, Phil, used to end in Deli, D-E-L-I?
It did, but now it ends in give, I believe. Or die.
Sorry,
die
random.
Yes.
Random information for everybody if you want to call Phil.
I'm surprised you remember that.
What I was going to... I did. From Xavier's perspective, though, Xavier, you must be all over this whole fan representation because isn't this very much what Magic is Might is all about?
Well, I like Magic is Might is very in character, so I like the fact that a lot of people, through the social media networks are taking the same type of feel to it. I think you see it with every fandom. There's a lot of role play everywhere, and people just adapt to certain characters and they fall in love with them and want to, become those characters from the books that they love. So it was definitely very heavy in the Potter fandom, and I'm surprised to see it as heavy with even Hunger Games being a smaller fandom. It's still right up there. Like the girl who spoke before about how there are multiple, or Delhi who spoke before about how there are multiple Katniss and multiple Petas, and people are then branching out to characters who people may not think about right away, and they're taking them and adapting to them. So I think it's really cool. I love to sit back and watch and see how diverse and creative they get.
And Delhi, have you actually seen people start to create their own original characters, characters who don't appear in the trilogy?
Yeah, I mean, Hunger Games crew, we have people who are not from the book, but they're actually in our role play.
Very cool. You know what I heard might be coming out too is another hashtag Hunger Games fan site crew, where people are going to pretend to be Megan and Lee from The Hob and post articles pretending to in role playing as these great figures. I'm just joking. Although you never know, they are getting kind of fit. And Shylah over there from down with the Capitol. So it's just these kinds of trends could develop. But Delhi, if I could just ask you one last question, and this is a very important question, so make sure you really give the answer that you want. But I know you grew up with Peta and Gale and you're friends with both of them, but if you had to be romantically involved with one of them, which one would you have picked?
Wow, this is a hard question. Basically, Peta's my brother, so I wouldn't choose him, so I think, Gale. All
right, so Delhi is Team Gale. Stop the presses right there and let everybody know that. This is the reveal. Everyone will